This is another episode of Heavy Bangs. I am your host, Lance Paulin. I am here with my co-host and wife, Misha Paulin.
Whoa.
That's her new name. Thank you guys for joining us in another episode of Heavy Bangs, where we bring the funny and the
bangs.
And the bangs.
And the chest hair.
And the chest hair. For those of you who are watching on the YouTube, you can see chest hair. Misha has a low-cut shirt today. Oh, it's good to be here, you guys. Gosh, what a week it's been. I hope you all had a good week. I know we had a week. I don't know if it was good, but we've been through it and we got here and we're now with you. So, and that just goes to show you whether you're feeling good or having a good week or not, we can still come together and be one united conglomeration.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I use that word, right?
I don't know. That doesn't sound right.
Oh, no, it's absolutely right. Conglomeration.
Okay.
Yeah, so great. This is really, really good to thank you for all the support for listening. Let's just get right into it. I introduced my co-host as Paulin. She's now officially
Well, I think we already talked about that it was official. We've talked about that before a little bit.
I don't want to just repeat episodes.
This is different.
Okay.
I've begun to acquire more forms, like legal forms, legal documents of identification with the new name.
Yeah.
Still got to do my passport.
Kind of like a fresh start for you, really. You can just kind of let go of everything that you've done as Misha McCourtney and all the good and bad and ugly and beautiful.
Start anew.
And you really kind of have a fresh slate. That's got to be nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know that's just got to feel nice to have like kind of a.
Well, I wasn't running from anything, but
not that you were. I just was.
But it's something different, something new, something fresh.
I'll never have
fun.
a different name. I'll always be.
You don't know. You could change it.
If I change it, I will only change it to a symbol.
I remember when I lived in my hometown of Paradise, California. Shout outs to P-Town or...
well, that's Portland, so I wouldn't say that.
We also said P-Town, so you don't know that. That's Portland. But Portland doesn't own P-Town.
I promise you it does.
I promise you it does not.
Okay, continue.
Okay, how about the Dice? Because we also call it the Dice.
It's die. You don't refer to it as plural with die.
No, Paradise, the Dice.
Are you talking about a pair or a single? Oh, you're talking about the place.
Yes, the Dice.
Okay. That seems more fitting than P-Town because P-Town is 100% Portland. And anyway. For all of our listeners who are Portland, you can go ahead and write us an email at heavybangs@gmail.com or go to the Heavy Bangs podcast, heavybangspodcast.com, and you actually can just write us and let us know for confirmation. So this argument can be settled.
Nobody from Portland can write in and tell me that they have they're the authority of the words P-Town and that no one else and no other town that starts with a P can use it. And they can do that, and I won't take that as like any sort of confirmation, and I will not change my mind.
Okay, well, these are just your listeners that you're trying to appeal to, and you're trying to get on your side, so it just seems like you're kind of putting up a shield. But
okay, well, these are also your listeners who maybe live in Paradise, who you're telling them that the town that they've called P-Town,
Paradise doesn't even exist anymore.
There are still some people living there in trailers, and there are some
if they
homes
have a
being
trailer,
built.
I promise you they're not listening to the Heavy Bangs podcast.
Okay, now you...
No disrespect.
No, now you are dissing on my town.
I'm not dissing, but I'm saying if someone is living in a trailer, they're probably not listening to the Heavy Bangs podcast.
Maybe you're right, and that's a shame.
I'm not going to argue that.
That we don't have a listener there.
It is a shame.
But
it is a shame.
I'd like to think that, maybe somebody in the town of Paradise, if they ever find out about the podcast, will listen to it.
I'd like to hope so.
Because a fellow Paradisian
Perdition?
is on the podcast and speaks very highly of the town. Anyway, look,
Yeah, just
what I was trying
get
to
it out.
say was there was a woman, and I don't know if I can say her name. Can I? I don't even know.
Just make up a name.
Gosh, it's hard because her name was so specific. Anyway,
Just make up a name that just make up a word that sounds like her
Okay.
name.
So her name was Bacha,
Okay.
and she had it legally.
Sasha?
No.
Okay.
She had it legally changed to just Bacha.
And what was it before?
It was Bacha and then her last name.
But then she took out the last name?
No, she just wanted to be Bacha.
So she doesn't have a last name.
She's just Bacha, similar to Prince.
Well, that's way too soon. Rest in peace.
Or
He died as a
Lady
symbol.
Gaga.
She's still around. Got it. But I don't know. But she actually has a name, Lady Gaga.
Cinderella.
Okay, that I can. That
Snow
that one.
White.
Okay, Snow and White.
Pinocchio.
Okay, well, first of all, it's Snow and White. Snow is her first name. White is her last name.
Okay, well then Pinocchio.
Pinocchio's great. Yeah, Pinocchio's, well, he's a wooden boy, so it doesn't even really technically count, but Cinderella counts. So I'm not arguing.
Ariel.
Yeah, you can go through all of the Disney movies. Yes, the answer is yes. I'm not arguing that.
Toto.
That's an animal. It doesn't count.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Yeah, so it's got to
she
feel.
had her name just Bacha, and that's it. So what I'm trying to say is, if at any point you wanted to change your name,
to just pollen.
yeah, or just Lance.
You know, they used to call me at the comedy club Lance Ballin Pollen.
Why?
Well, I don't want to get into that. You know, we're married and stuff, and it's history. But I could just change it to Ballin.
You could.
Do you know of any Ballins?
No.
I don't either. I think that'd kind of be a nice name. Oh, it's my friend Ballin.
What is it?
Ballin.
Come again?
Ballin?
Can you spell that for me?
Like dribble?
Dribble? Your
Basketball?
name is Dribble? Basketball.
Ballin.
Ballin.
Yeah.
Basketballin.
Ballin apostrophe.
Oh, there's an apostrophe in your name?
Sometimes.
Got it.
Yeah, it's anyway, yeah, I got it from the club. So that's just a little piece of history for you guys, and that wasn't because I was doing anything disrespectful or wasn't doing anything respectable at the same time.
Well, what is a baller, really? Seems like somebody who's they're doing well. They're cool. They're one of the cool cats.
I guess at that time in my life, there was a moment where I was I guess I was one of those cool guys who had all the money, who had all the cars, who had all the bitches, and
had all the bitches.
well, I told you this is before I met you.
There was never a time in your life that you had all the bitches.
I had bitches.
No, you didn't.
I had a bunch of bitches.
No, you didn't.
I had bitches coming all over this dig.
No, you never did. Literally.
You can ask my friend Harry. He gave me the name Lance Ballin Pollen.
Okay. I'm sure he gave it to you because it rhymed with pollen and he was trying to be kind
Yeah, he's
and
the
give you a
nicest guy.
complimentary name.
Yeah, we're friends.
But I will never believe that there was ever a time in your life where you had, quote, all the bitches.
I guess you just didn't, a certain me, a me that's a little bit more toned down and someone who isn't trying
Well,
to
not necessarily. I mean, I do recall when we first got together, I had heard the story about you having relations with a possibly underage Russian prostitute or something like that.
Well, that was that. First of all, that was a long time ago, and we don't even really know because she was such a trickster. She had fake passports or real passports, or she was telling me fake ages or telling me real ages or whatever. And honestly, I'm pretty sure she was like 30.
She wasn't 30.
I think she was.
No.
I don't know how old I was at the time, and I don't know how old she was at the time, but all I know is that, I think she was trying to keep me.
Keep you?
Keep me.
What do you mean, marry you?
I think possibly.
to get into the country?
I don't want to say that, but I do want to say that I think so because her mom was living with her in her apartment on her floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that just to me sounds like a setup for someone who's trying to see their daughter to find a man so that the mother can go back to Russia.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that could be the setup of a lot of things. But, you know, even my mom, she married a Mexican man to get him into the country when she was 18 years old.
So noble.
She got in trouble.
She did?
Yeah.
By his family?
Cops came after her, or, you know.
The cops came
Police.
after her?
Yeah.
Because they just knew that she...
What
do you mean they
you're not
came
allowed?
after?
You're not allowed to marry somebody that you don't actually want to marry just to get them into the country. Those are, you know, immigration things you can't do.
But how did they know that?
I think we'll see. My mom she was one of many. You know, there's people who do the matchmaking of these sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they find people who are willing to marry, and then they, you know, get the people who are willing to pay to marry somebody. Which if you were going to marry the
really
Russian,
kind of found her.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know what kind of circles
make
my mom
money
was
for it?
running in.
She got money
A little
for it.
bit, yeah.
So
not,
she did it.
Not enough.
She did it to make some money,
Well, she made a little bit of money.
but she didn't do it to
She
maybe
did-
find
she-
love.
No,
She was doing
no.
it to make money.
Yeah.
Smart.
She was 18.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, that's young,
Gosh, that is young and smart. I do the same thing.
but she got caught.
I
They
did
wanted to make an example out of her. So
Interesting.
they didn't just. I think she went to you know, she got more than just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, it's funny because I have a friend he married a man into the country,
Oh yeah,
and you know him.
but they're actually together. They
They're
love each other.
married. They're still
Mhm.
legally married,
Mm-hmm.
but they are but he is with another man.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that's why he married him. I thought they were like a real couple.
I mean maybe they were, but then he married him and then got him into the country, and then they broke up, and then just are still married.
Got it.
And he's with other people. He's with another
it.
man that he's
Well,
been with for a long time.
You actually don't know anybody like that right now, and immigration has no need to come question you.
No,
So anyway,
but I do know him now.
but you actually
You don't
know anybody.
I don't know anybody.
who-
Right. No, I don't know any of it. You're right. I don't.
Anyway, I have a new Instagram handle. Is what I
Oh yeah, everybody, you should go.
because my name before was Misha McCourtney because that was my name, and
Yeah.
then that was my handle.
Mm-hmm.
And now because my last name is Paulin,
Yeah.
it is
How'd you say it?
Paulin.
Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah.
Okay. My new Instagram handle is Mick Mac Pollen Whack.
So you just
Mick Mac Pollen Whack.
Micmac Pollen Whack at Micmac Pollen Whack.
At Mick Mac Pollen Whack.
Great. Well, yeah, for all of our listeners who want to kind of see what Misha's doing during the middle of the day and stuff, or see how.
Oh, I don't post on there.
Great. So don't even bother looking it up.
Oops.
Gosh, just making some noise. It's just nice to be here. Okay. This is great. Okay, so go
It's
ahead.
full. It's my first sip.
Yep, I noticed that.
Okay.
Okay, good. So, God, we've really kind of broken into this episode really well. I am feeling so much love.
Well, you did the some illegal substances recently, and
Male.
okay.
No, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm feeling like there's an abundance of love inside of me, which is something that is nice.
Good.
Because I cannot tell you guys that my mental health has been struggling for a while now. It's been a couple, I'd say a couple weeks, few weeks maybe.
Yeah.
No, I've not been doing well.
You haven't.
And it's not that I haven't been doing what I need to be doing for my mental health. You know that I've been doing my yoga. I've been taking moments of meditation. I do the breath work every so often, and I'm going on walks. And but I just have found myself just so unwell. Finding myself strangely dead. What? Deceased?
Diseased.
Diseased.
Yeah.
I'm not diseased. People are going to think I don't have COVID or
But
nothing.
like, you know what I mean? Like diseased.
Are you dissing me? What is it?
No, I'm like, you're not eased, you know? It's like the opposite.
Oh, I'm
like
uneased.
You're like
Uneased.
eased.
Okay, it still sounds like you're saying diseased.
Oh, I mean, I kind of am. I'm just sort of a wordplay, a little bit of
Okay,
a...
well, no. Okay, well, no. I'm gonna say I was uneased.
Okay.
And I was finding myself full of a lot of like anger and mad and like rage and stuff, and I didn't really know where it was coming from, and then I started thinking about it, and just mad that everyone is being so mean to everybody.
Yeah.
Seems like
in the world
that we're living in right now, it seems like you're kind of either this or you're that, and you can't be well, I'll be this and you can be that kind of thing,
and it'd be okay.
And there's not going to be an the death isn't like the people. I saw this article where Howard Stern had wished, and granted, I got to check the article and everything, but like people are wishing death upon people for being unvaccinated.
I have heard people
like if you're unvaccinated,
say that you shouldn't be treated at the ER if you're not vaccinated.
Right. Which is, that's coming from a really hateful place.
Yeah.
And, it's their body, their place. They're really entitled to do really whatever really you want, because it's, the body that you're in right now, that you're even listening to with your ears, listening to this is like, that's the thing that's the only thing you have.
Yeah.
It's literally the only thing we have. So if someone doesn't want to do something, why can't it just be okay? Oh, okay. Well, then just don't do it. It's all good. It doesn't, we don't need people to be like wanting to kill people or wanting harm to be done or wanting people to fall ill or not have them receive treatment in the hospitals. I mean, it just seems like it's not coming from a place of love.
No, it's quite the opposite.
It's quite the opposite. And I understand that, a lot of it is political, and we're not going to get political here. It shouldn't be. But it shouldn't be political. I've never, it's just, anyway, it was causing me to become very, very mad and angry, and there's nothing I could do about it. Because I am kind of surrounded by people who are operating in that level. Which does makes it difficult, and is also on me for surrounding myself around those kind of people. But yeah, it's just I think there needs to be a shift here. I think there's a way for everyone to kind of relay their message in a way that's of love, and
just not even relay your message at all. You could just keep it to yourself.
You can kind of just keep your opinion to yourself.
Yeah,
isn't that the craziest thing? I think that we completely forgot. I mean,
if you're gonna say something mean, you can certainly keep it to yourself.
Just keep it to yourself,
or get a punching bag.
And I am going to start taking kickboxing classes.
You are when you're hip heels.
Yeah, I'm dealing with a sprain tip. I've been dealing with it for about a month now. That's another reason why my mental health has been diseased, and I haven't been able to kick around, push around, do skateboarding maneuvers. I haven't been able to really do high kicks like I like to do kind of here at the apartment when it just
you do a lot of high kicks.
I'm practicing for my kickboxing because there's who knows, I might become a fighter.
I don't ever say you can't be, but you
don't think I could do it?
I think that by the time you're at that level of ready for your first fight,
I'll be too old.
A little bit.
Really?
Well, these guys are starting in their early 20s and younger.
Babe, I mean, I don't mean to say babe for the listeners. Misha, listen.
Yeah.
There's plenty of UFC fighters who are 34, 36. That guy who I just watched last week was 36 years old.
But you're assuming you're going to be ready to go in the next few years or so.
Oh, I'm going to be ready to go in a couple of years.
Okay.
In a couple of years, I will be fighting.
Okay. And maybe you will.
And here's the thing. I'm not fighting because I want to instill violence on somebody. Okay. I've fallen in love with mixed martial arts. It's crazy because it's the last thing I've ever wanted to watch in my life. I never wanted to watch people beat the shit out of each other or fight or wrestle around. I had friends growing up who were state champ wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Never got it. Now I get it.
I
Now,
always got it.
really?
Well, like when I was younger, I was exposed to boxing a little bit. Not actually boxing, but watching boxing.
You
When
would
I was
watch
like
it?
a little kid. Yeah, because my sister and her then girlfriend would watch boxing. Like
Oh,
like
okay,
I
I
was
didn't know that.
watching the pay-per-view fight
Oh, wow.
like in real time when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
And
And-
he's just a peaceful guy now, huh?
Who?
Mike Tyson.
I don't
Have
know if
you
he's
seen-
a peaceful guy.
Oh my gosh.
I enjoy him. He's funny.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know if he's a
like,
peaceful guy.
I'm telling you, he is a reformed man. And I'm telling you this because I've witnessed it, I've seen it. And granted, I don't know him, but I've seen plenty of articles and plenty of interviews with him and him on podcasts and stuff because he's like a big pothead now. He's like really into DMT.
Okay.
He's heavily into all of the spiritual stuff. So when he talks now, everything he's talking about is just being positive and just
really?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I listened to him on a Rogan pod. I'm not trying to plug a Rogan podcast, but I do listen to the Rogan podcast every now and then. Shouts out to Joe. I know you don't listen to this, but shouts out. And yeah, he was on there and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Tyson hater, that's for sure.
I'm a no Tyson hater, no.
And then I had, my older brother. So
Oh, yeah.
that was always like,
Yeah, no, Nick, he's always been into it.
yes, into martial arts
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's gangster, and he is a bit like that. So
Well, no.
yeah,
Gangster?
in a little way.
When he was a teenager,
I think
yes.
it's still there.
You
I
think?
know him. I know him on a different level than you know him. You know him as your sister, like as your brother, and he's your sister. I know him as
He's my sister.
he's more like my brother.
Got it. Yeah, and then like when I was in high school, gosh, we just were talking about this, so I don't mean to repeat it, but like I got into a couple physical fights, and so when I was in high school, I was very small, of course, but I still am. I mean, I was basically this size,
Small,
and yeah,
right where you should be, and that's not saying that you can't gain
there
or
was
lose weight.
something.
I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just trying to
Okay.
say that you're perfect.
Thank you so much.
And you'll always be perfect, no matter what you decide to do with your life. Continue.
Okay, thanks so much. There was something appealing to me about that those like certain quote like more masculine traits.
I don't even know if you can use that word anymore. To be honest, I think you might get canceled.
What word?
Masculine.
No, I can use masculine.
You can.
Yeah. I mean, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Good.
And so I like. I mean, I'm not proud. I mean, I'm a kid. I'm a teenager.
You're so small.
And there's certain respect you gain from being the winner of a fight, whether you're a
100%.
girl or a boy.
100%.
And if some hoe
Yeah.
was gonna, talk shit or have sex with my boyfriend 3 times in one night.
3 times in one night.
That's what they told me. That's what the
Jeez.
people at the campground told me.
They're not making that up. They're not making that up. And that's
Then in that
unfortunate.
case, yeah, I feel like the pressure's on.
So you went and found him and you beat him up?
Him?
Yeah.
The boyfriend?
Yeah.
No, the
You
girl.
found her? You found the girl?
Well, so this could be
This
a
is
little
like
shady. So I wanted to
And
fight
you
her.
called her a hoe?
Hoe for show.
I feel like you hung out with hoes.
Hoes? No.
But-
Well, what? Yes, I had one friend who was very scandalous. But that's just because, she didn't have a lot of self-esteem.
But I don't think it's just scandalous with hoe. I think hoe has a little bit of like a vigor to it. Don't you think? It's like scandalous mixed with a little heat. Maybe they come at you a bit.
I don't know. Maybe.
In my mind, that's how I paint my hoes.
I mean, I, for instance, had one friend that was just like always had my back. She was just this real tough, freaking tough girl.
Yeah.
And
How
she
much
was
she weigh?
always
Was
there
she
for
big
me.
girl?
Yeah.
Big girl? Like, so set it up.
I don't know weight. But she was way taller than me and way bigger than me.
Got it. Okay.
And she always had my back. But yeah, she was like a tough girl, and
like
she wasn't a hoe.
Okay. Well, I don't mean hoe in a disrespectful way. I just mean hoe in a way of like someone who maybe is scandalous and also doesn't mind backing some shit up.
Oh yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Because that's kind of what she did. No.
Who?
Your friend?
My friend? No, she just like had my back.
She
like,
had you. Okay.
you know, and I felt very safe around her, as you can imagine.
You're always safer with a buddy. Buddy system is.
But
always
also
best.
a girl that tough.
Oh, of course.
But anyway, so but this was before I started hanging out with her. Actually, that I wanted to fight this other girl. And by the way, I've kind of made up with her. We're fine now. Like, really, I shouldn't have been trying to fight her. It's clearly the boyfriend who was a douche.
Yeah, who was sleeping with her 3 times.
But
of the
she
matter.
also, you know, she knew. Here's the deal. She was his ex.
Oh, okay. Well, there's history
Okay.
there.
And then when I found out about this, I was very distraught.
I would be too.
And
I've been cheated on. I know what that feels like. It
yeah.
doesn't feel good.
And I was also very young at this time. I think at this point I'm like 14, 15. I don't know. 14, 15. And
people are doing penetration 3 times in one night at 14?
yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, not a lot to do in paradise in those days. And now nothing to do because there's, you know,
It
burned
doesn't
down.
even exist.
It exists. It just,
But it's burned
most of
down.
it got burned down. So I get a couple of my girlfriends to lure cheater. Well, she's not the cheater, but lure, you know,
The hoe.
the hoe, to lure her to the park.
How did they allure her to
They
the
just
park?
were like, hey, let's go hang out at the park.
And she's like, that sounds good?
Yeah. So they walked there and I was waiting
At the park.
at the park.
Were you by yourself?
Yeah, waiting there.
What were you doing? Like pacing or something?
Probably my adrenaline was just, and this honestly, when I was in kindergarten, I was also in a fight.
Okay, well, look, we're not talking about kindergarten right now.
Okay, but I just want to say that me and my best friend Jessica were pulling each other's hair on the corner, and my brother came running at me with wielding his crossbow to save my life, and she ran away. So that was fight 1. But now I don't have my brother, right? So yeah,
Or his crossbow.
So I'm
It's a good brother.
hiding behind this building at the duck pond, we called it. Actually, it was like a park, but there's a duck pond.
Sure. That's what I'd call it too if there
And
were ducks there.
My adrenaline is, it's through the roof.
It's quacking.
Yep. And, but yeah, so then they get there. And then my one friend, Amanda, she comes behind the building and she's like, she's here. She's like a little suspicious. And because she's probably like, why are you going behind the building now? Why are you telling me to wait here? Like, what's going on? Right.
She thinks it's going to be like a birthday surprise.
She knows something's not right. I don't know. But I can imagine, you know, and plus my energy, like she could probably feel it through the little sheds that I was standing behind.
Yeah, maybe.
And so I'm like, should I do it? Should I go out there now? And Amanda's like, yeah. And I go out there and from that moment, there's a little bit of a blackout period. You know what I mean? Like I don't remember like every moment.
Really?
But I keep trying to get her and she keeps running from me. So I'm
so you guys are
trying
just chasing each other?
I'm chasing her.
Around the park? So you guys are just playing ultimately in the park?
Yeah, but Amanda said that I came out from behind the pond like this.
People probably sitting on the bench near feeding the ducks are probably just looking over at you gals being like, oh, kids will be kids. How fun.
Well, there was a couple there who was probably like early 20s and they thoroughly were entertained.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I would be entertained too.
They
watching a
said that it was a fun watch, that, oh, I've never seen a girl fight. Not that it was much of a girl fight, but I said things, like I yelled things, like I was
Sure.
really into the movie Big Daddy at that point, and there's a part where
Call her like Scuba Steve or something.
No, there's a part where he's criticizing his ex's new old man boyfriend.
Oh yeah, this
you know?
old balls.
Yeah. So I referred to her old loose lips.
Oh yeah.
You know, like just things that aren't
Loose-
very becoming
Loose
of one.
lips. Telling a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she didn't have any loose lips.
I'm sure
She
her
was just-
lips were fine.
Yeah.
And I don't even
And
know
I
if
don't
we
even-
can even talk about
no,
that.
she was 14, but now
Yeah.
she's not. Now she's my
Now
age.
she's of age. She's legally she's probably in her 30s now.
She's in her 30s.
So she's in her 30s and her lips were fine.
And
we
she's
can,
a lovely person.
and she's a lovely person, and we can actually talk about her lips because she is of age.
But when you're 14, you know, you make a lot of dumb mistakes. Anyway,
yeah, I've done
next episode, I say we do fight 3.
Well, hold on
I'll
a
tell you
second.
about my fight 3.
But there was no fight. You guys just chased each
But
other.
I
There's no punching.
I swung when I would try to get her.
So there was
But
a
she
chase.
just kept running. She'd be like behind a tree.
Okay, well this is
She'd run to the other
such a
side of
letdown for the listeners because it's a chase. You guys got into a foot chase. That isn't a
Okay.
fight.
Okay.
Okay, that isn't a fight at all. I mean, a fight is you're either on the ground. There's a little scuffle. There's
Okay, well, I have been on the ground with a girl,
well now.
but that's a
continue.
whole other story.
Okay, well now I'm very interested.
Well, I just mean
How
a fight.
old were you? Oh, it was a fight.
It's like a year later or something.
Oh,
a
okay, so
couple
you're
years
underage.
later.
I don't want to hear about it.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I ended up with some black eyes, but also I was
this
on top
day when you were getting chased, you ended
No,
up with black eyes.
on the next fight, I ended up with the one that you said that like it would count because we were actually on the ground.
Okay, so you got into a different fight with a different hoe.
Not so much a hoe, but my best friend who was no longer my best friend.
God, you just had a strange mess of friends.
Yeah, and this girl, by the way, also great girl, great human being, happy to know her. Hopefully her life is always awesome.
But you
She's
got
great
into a
kids.
fight with her and she punched you in the eyes?
She got me in the eyes, yeah.
So you had black eyes?
I had black eyes, but
Are you
I
saying
ended
black
up on
eyes or black eyes? That's a little callback for the previous episode for anybody who listened actually to the last episode.
yeah, I looked like I was a
got it.
raccoon.
Got it. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, people probably were not wanting you digging around in their
She
trash.
got me right in the face
Yeah. Gosh, well, I've been punched in the face once.
by when you were skateboarding.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy time. I was longboarding kind of. We were like 18, 19, just moved out of the house and we were on the north side of Spokane. And it was like probably midnight or so. And we all had longboards and stuff. So we would go to there's a big Safeway at the end of the street that would, they would close down and have
I
like
know
a little
Safeways.
strip mall. So like lots of pavement and stuff to longboard on and just cruise around on down there. Super fun times. And, we do, there'd definitely be some, alcohols and stuff. And yeah, one time we were coming back up from the street and, there was a car parked right in the middle of the road with 4 dudes who looked like, college football players.
Okay.
And they're all outside of the car in the middle of the road and they're all taking a piss in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 3 white guys and a black dude and all big, and the black dude was just a tall guy. And as we're making our way up the road, as we get closer, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this doesn't really look good.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're looking at us. Like we're coming up there's 4 of us. We're coming up the road. There's 4 of them. And we're just really trying to go to the house that they're literally right in front of it. And then so we try to go by and, I go last and the other 2 go through, or the other 3 go through. And then, oh, excuse me. No, there was only 3 of us. The other one was in the house. The other one didn't go with us. It was just 3 of us. And the other, so Mike and Josh go through and then I go through and then this black dude goes, "What the fuck you say to me?" And then he cocked his hand back and he plowed that fist right into my head. And it kind of sent me off, it knocked me off my board and I bounced off of like a parked car. And immediately,
Did he come after you?
it was so what happened? He hit me. I fall off my board. I bounce off the car. I immediately get up and I swing my longboard at his face.
Did you connect?
No, he wasn't close. And then I huck the longboard and then I start.
Where'd you huck it?
I swung it at him and I fucking hucked it because then he started to come after me. And now all these dudes are coming after me. And Mike, the other dude, Josh, like was able to get away and hide.
Whoa.
So,
but you're right next to the house. You're trying to.
Yeah,
make
but
it
you
to.
don't go in your house. You don't let them know where you live because then they're going to fuck with you. They know where you live. So whenever you're getting chased, this is a rule that you should know, but I know it sounds like a joke, but this is actually very serious. If you're ever getting chased by anybody, you fucking never go home.
Okay, well, what if they just keep chasing me? You want me to never come back home? Where do I go?
You go to the police station. You go to a
I don't even know where the police
go to a
station is.
7-Eleven. Go somewhere that's open.
And what if they walk right in and kill me in the 7-Eleven?
Everything's on camera.
And so I'm dead, but at least it's on camera?
At least it's on camera. There's going to be justice.
Oh, well,
My
justice
point
is
of the
great.
matter is don't go home. Okay, don't go home. We know that's a
Okay.
rule. So that's a rule.
Okay.
We didn't go home. We knew not to go home.
Okay.
So we sprint up the street and we end up going behind these people's houses and find like these big metal pipes. And we're going to come out swinging with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a good find at a time like that.
such a good find. And by the time, and obviously there's a lot of commotion. Cops have been called. Somehow, one of the neighbors had called the police. They were there so quick. So we're behind the house, and then the police are calling us out. Mike comes out with the pipe. They're like, "Put the pipe."
Like the mic I know?
The mic,
Okay.
comes out with the pipe. He's raising the pipe in his hand, like he's gonna swing it. And the police are like, "Put the pipe down. Put the pipe down. Put the wet thing." And then we go and we talk to the police or whatever. Basically, though, come to find out that those people were best friends with our neighbors.
The neighbors you were going to?
The neighbors that we lived next door to.
Oh, your actual neighbors.
Our actual neighbors at the house, that they were basically parked in front of their house and our house. But I didn't know that. But the next day, I was out front in the yard. And this little white boy came up to me from the neighbor's house. This gangster-ass kid. And he's like, "Yo, you get in a scuffle with my brother my brother last night." And I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about, dude." He's like, "Yo, you called my brother an N-word last night." And I was like, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely didn't call your brother any words."
You didn't even say anything.
I didn't even say the N-word. I didn't say nothing.
You were just trying to get by.
I think I said, "Oh shit," maybe. I didn't, but I wasn't.
As one might when the fist is coming.
As one would come. And I was genuinely confused. And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your brother, who is your brother?"
But you had to have known.
I didn't.
You didn't know this is about last night?
No. And I'm like, "He hit you in the face." And I was like, "That dude's a black guy." He's like, "Yeah, it's my brother." I'm like, "Dude, you're white. How is he your?" He's like, "My brother." I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "Dude, you guys are trouble. Fucking watch your stuff," basically. And then we never really had problems with it before. Never had problems again after that.
So what that brings us to you taking kickboxing.
So I'm going to be taking some kickboxing classes. I'm going to learn how to defend myself. I'm going to learn how to be a strong, smart individual.
Whilst exuding love.
Whilst only exuding love and peace and happiness.
Got it.
So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's just a little piece of history for you.
That was a lot of history. I wasn't trying to go into the whole fight.
Yeah, we
thing.
really went down into a place.
Yeah. You can't just talk about fights every time.
No, you really can't.
And
but I am super
I won't do
interested
it
to
again.
learn the skill because I've never been more fixated on being able to utilize my body in every way that it can.
It's also such an incredible, you're just in insane shape if you do something like that.
That too, and that's also another thing I'm looking forward to. I'm on a bit of a health kick.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of push-ups. We talked about that before too, though, so I don't want to talk about it again.
Still doing the 100 push-ups, not a big deal, but I am noticing.
Are you still doing 100?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I do.
Well, you kind of have to.
I do 30
you got no
right-
hip.
30 right out of the gate.
Got it.
And I take a rest. I do another 30. Take a rest. Do another
Okay.
30. And I pop out another 10.
You are getting more defined,
Thank you so much for saying that.
and your breasts are.
I'm getting breasts a little bit, and it is nice because sometimes when Misha doesn't let me touch hers, I can go and touch mine, which is actually something I've always wanted. Even as a little child, I remember when I was probably just starting to do masturbatory things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember wanting breasts of my own. If I just had breasts, I could squeeze breasts and I could masturbate all day.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got married and kind of was a win-win because I didn't have to have a surgery. I don't like going
Going under the knife. Mm-hmm.
And you have breasts that I can touch.
Very small,
But perfect. And my grandfather said anything more than a mouthful is too much.
yeah, I've heard that before.
And that's Grandpa Roger. And that's honestly the truth. It is the truth. And you don't know until you've had too much.
And you've had too much.
I'm saying that I have the perfect breast. I have married the perfect breast.
But there is a time in your life where you had too much, and you said this is too much breast.
Where I was like, oh, this is a lot of breast.
Too much breast to handle.
Never too much to handle.
So you can't have too much breast then.
I mean, I guess you can't, but there is something about having some that are no more than a mouthful.
It's like that old AM/PM campaign, too much good stuff. Like you can't actually have too much good stuff, but they claimed that they had too much good stuff.
They had tits and stuff in there?
I don't remember tits specifically, but they talk about like their hot dogs and stuff like
They had dicks in there.
Wieners.
That's not my anyway, so so great. So we're kind of just going we just started talking about tits and stuff and so I think that's all I really ultimately we got really off topic and I'm stuttering now and not doing it intentionally for attention. So basically what I want to wrap it up is for all of our listeners, yes, things are very weird right now. And yes, you might have people in your life or in your family or friends or your circle or whatever that have opinions that are different than you. And that I think just more than anything, I just want to express that it's simply okay. It's simply okay to think different than someone else. And it's simply okay to just keep your opinion to yourself if you want. And it's simply okay to just operate from a place of love. Let that be the main source that you're coming from. Let love be where you operate from.
And if love is too much for you, then let's have we start with respect.
God, that was so well put. That was so well put. And I don't even want to touch on it anymore.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, well, I just want to piggyback on what you're saying.
Yeah.
And also mention that it's interesting, like growing up, not that I really knew much about different political parties or anything like that, but people always kind of said that whole, you don't talk about politics, you don't talk about religion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember people being different religions and different, well, I mean, within so far, like I didn't know
Sure.
a ton of people who were all different religions, but I knew different sorts of like Christian people or whatever, but certainly different political parties who got along okay.
Got along well.
And they
loved each other.
They didn't talk about it, but it's also divisive.
It's
right
all
now.
we're talking about right now. It's yeah, and I'd kind of mentioned this to you the other day I think it was even today where I remember being around my dad's family, which is a huge family over Thanksgivings and stuff. Everybody from different political standpoints
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And everyone got along. The rule was no one talks politics.
Yeah.
That was a rule my grandma said, and there's no politics being spoken in this house, and no one spoke politics in the house. And if they did, they basically got kicked out. Like when grandma shut them down.
And not that there's not a time and a place to talk politics,
No.
especially if you've decided, hey, is this safe for us to debate with
Can we
one
have
another?
but that's the thing too.
Do we respect each other enough to do
There's a difference
this?
to having a respectable debate versus someone who's telling you you're fucked up, you should die, you're wrong, you're a white supremacist or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
for instance, like the conservative guy running against not even really running against Newsom because the whole recall, Larry Elder, being called the the black face of white supremacy.
that's crazy.
And I saw countless headlines that would say things that seemed to me so obviously racist
Mm-hmm.
toward this man.
Yeah,
And that was completely like nobody cared.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it
No,
seems
like the
like
LA
there's
Times, like nobody
Yeah.
criticized. I mean, they were the ones doing it.
right.
Um,
Yeah, it's so hypocritical because there's certain parties who are doing that. They're preaching one thing, but then doing the complete opposite for their running opponents or whatever.
we'll say that again.
I'm saying like I'm saying the far left. I'm gonna say the far left
Mm-hmm.
is And this just for the podcasters, I am nothing. I'm neither
You
left
really are.
or
You
right.
really aren't a political person.
I am not political at all. But it does seem like the far left is using this thing of, oh, you need to respect everybody. You need to be open to everyone's choices and everything. And then they're doing things that seem kind of contradictory, where they're like this person's a white race, or they're.
Well, they throw the title racist around very easily. The
and
problem
white
with
supremacists.
and white supremacists, all of those things, those bigot, all of those things.
All that stuff.
But how do you get out of that? Like, if somebody calls you a racist, what do? You literally, at that point, there's no way you are guilty, and there's no innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent.
Right.
But how do you prove yourself innocent?
Well, you're supposed to bring your wallet and show them the pictures of all your black friends.
That's not going to do it.
I would say, look,
Larry Elder is a black man. So does he show you
right.
pictures of his family?
Right.
What does he do to get out of being a racist?
I have no idea.
And also,
yeah,
I don't even know why he's racist. And it's so bonkers that nobody else is seeing this.
Well, I think they are. I think just people maybe aren't speaking up about it.
And there's that, but there's also a bunch of people who read headlines about
Believe it.
black face of white supremacy. They read these headlines and they're just like, oh, that must be true. LA Times, whatever.
I have to say, LA Times has probably got to be the absolute worst.
I mean, they're all terrible. Do you know?
For sure.
I heard something today, and I wish I could remember who it was. I'm quoting somebody who was quoting somebody, and I'm not even going to quote them perfectly.
This is like a telephone quote.
But it was something like, we need to destroy our media and replace it with something with integrity.
Oh, wow.
And and I was like, oh, that's so true. It needs to be destroyed.
Man, but here's the thing. It will never happen. It will never happen, and here's why. The government wants, and I know this sounds like conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I honestly don't give a shit. This is my podcast, and I love you all for listening. Thank you so much. The government wants to keep people busy fighting, wants to keep people pointing fingers at each other, wants to keep people in confrontation, so they're not thinking for themselves. You keep people... It's a way of control. It's controlling people by fear. It's controlling people by manipulation and by everything. It's a way to... Because right now, the country doesn't have fucking control. The country is out of control right now.
We're out of control.
And the government is trying to seize control. And the only way they know how to do that is by implementing fear.
Yeah.
And by having people point fingers at other people and keep people fighting. Because if people are fighting and arguing, people aren't living their lives. They're not out having fun. They're not making art. They're not trying to do whatever they want to do to better themselves or to better society or any of that. It's a mess. And that's where I'll stop my bit of a rant there for a moment. But
it is a mess.
It's a super big mess, but everyone knows it's a mess, and just know that we hear you. But operate from love, whether you agree with someone's choice or not.
Yeah, and respect.
And respect. Love and respect. L&R, baby. L&R and fucking. Because if you fuck at the end of the day too, you'll also feel better.
That's what a lot of people like to say.
Well,
and even I'm reading 1984 right now.
Yeah, it's a classic novel.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's also it's just very relevant.
Yeah, I'm super excited to read it when you're done.
Well, you might have to. I checked it out from the library, and it's.
I was just gonna buy it. I was just gonna buy a book. I was gonna buy it. Just add it to the shelf.
But the library is just such a fun experience.
I agree, but
can I tell you something about the library?
I've been there so much.
Okay, I went to the library. I got a library card, and I went up to go check my book out. And this was a few books back. I'm a regular.
Yeah.
And really enjoy the place. A great feeling. The librarian looks nice. She's helped me out before. So I go to check my book out, first book, and got my bag, my purse open, my wallet out. Like, how much do I owe you? I'm checking out a video.
Right.
And he goes, "This is free." And then he's like, "Well, it's not free. You pay for it when you pay taxes." And I was like, it's crazy because I don't even pay taxes.
You don't pay taxes?
No, that was a joke.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, then he's probably like, well, yeah, I'm going to actually charge you for the book.
And then I slid him a Washington.
A one?
Yeah.
Do they take tips?
No.
Did he give it back?
No, that part was also just a joke. I'm just trying to
Okay,
be
well,
silly.
just
I
okay,
guess
well,
my
yeah,
jokes
just
aren't
don't
really
be silly.
hitting.
Yeah, they're not. So, but it's not.
Anyway, yeah, in the book, they kind of say the same thing about sex.
What do you mean?
That like if people are having sex and enjoying, I mean,
But
that's not like the point of the book. But there are some characters talking about it. And
if you're
they're like,
fucking, you're enjoying life.
yeah, and so
Of course.
the party in the book, they call it the party, like the party that is whose head leader's big brother.
Of course.
The party is like you're not allowed to just have like fun sex. Sex is only for if you're trying to have a child for the sake of the party, then you can have sex. But otherwise,
Sounds like
you don't have
China.
sex for fun.
That's like what they're doing in China.
I actually don't know anything about that. I do know that China banned hip hop, which was just so crazy.
What?
Yeah, I read that.
China banned hip hop?
Hip hop culture is banned on Chinese television.
Wow. But K-pop can be, but
Well,
K-pop's
K-pop is
okay.
Korea. We're talking about that's South Korea.
K-pop's everywhere though. K-pop is everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know that China respects K-pop.
Okay. I guess I assumed that they were because I felt like China and South Korea are like kind of buds, no?
I mean, buds. I don't know that they're buds.
Well, they're next to each other.
Yeah, they're next to
Geographically,
each other.
they're next to each other.
Yeah, and we're next to this neighbor over here with
He's an asshole.
right. So
Yeah, I guess I take it back.
I don't know. I don't want to speak on that.
And I don't want to say stuff that makes me sound stupid.
But yeah, K-pop
Got it.
is yeah.
Okay,
No.
fair. I take it back. I take the K-pop comment back. What I see is a lot of K-pop coming over to America and stuff.
Yeah, I think that as far as the K-pop goes, that is hip-hoppy, which they're not even that hip-hop these days.
So they just don't.
The original K-pop groups seemed more hip-hop than they do today.
Why can't hip hop be in China?
I don't know. They just don't. They've just banned it.
Are they racist
Probably.
toward white and black Americans and all other ethnicities who make hip hop?
I don't know. They just look. They just don't. They banned hip hop. I was just simply saying they banned hip hop, which is it's a little ludicrous.
It's crazy. Well, and no pun intended.
Oh yeah, I put
Yay,
there.
respect. Luda is one of the best in the game.
He is. I had some CDs.
Man, that dude is a bad motherfucker, and he's got some lyricism.
I'm doing 90 on the highway, so if you do the speed limit, get the out of my way. That was the radio edit. Did you notice? Because I did.
Yeah,
that.
because you bleeped it out, and you didn't even need to bleep it out because we can cuss on the podcast.
Okay, next time.
Yeah, Luda.
Move,
Luda.
bitch.
Who's your favorite rapper or hip hop artist? If you had to name one, who's your all time? Who's the one or the group or whatever?
My go-to is always Tupac, so I probably will just stick with that.
Shit, yeah, Tupac's good.
Yeah, and
Tupac's
Tupac was
good.
just like, so like,
Yeah,
I just remember hearing Tupac so often.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
like a poster of Tupac.
yeah, I think everyone did. Everyone
Did
did.
you?
Have a poster of him?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so not you then.
I was listening to a
So maybe not
different
everybody.
genre. Okay. If my mom would have let me have a Tupac poster, I probably would have had one. But I was not listening to that genre of music at the time.
Yeah.
And honestly,
You're kind of like a skater.
I don't want to say I was morally against rap, but I was not into rap.
Got it.
I was into metal. And I was into rock and
And
roll.
I was not into metal.
I mean, I say metal, I was into like Iron Maiden and, Motorhead and all that, like old Metallica, and like I could even go more, but
Like I did not like Marilyn Manson.
well, Marilyn Manson is not metal. I don't know if I would. I don't know. Maybe he is metal. I don't think of when I think of metal, I think of Iron Maiden. I think of like Slayer or Motorhead.
What about Prodigy?
That's a rap. You're bringing rappers into it.
They weren't a rapper.
That
they weren't
sounds like a
rappers.
rapper to me.
No, those like don't
Sounds
you
like
remember
a
there was like
white
two
rapper.
dudes? I remember the music video where they're like kind of crazy, like going all around the place, like bashing into the walls.
I don't remember it.
Gosh, what's that song? Maybe I'm not even talking about the right band.
But anyway, Tupac is that'd be your guy.
Yeah, what about you?
I was trying to think about it. It's really tough,
Yeah.
I would have to say I'd have to say Eminem.
Oh yeah. Well, Eminem is great.
Eminem or Dre.
Okay.
I I'm big into Dre.
Yeah.
But Eminem, he's kind of my pump up.
Yeah. My sister listens to Eminem all the time while she delivers mail.
Does she really?
She works for the United States Post Office and she
And shouts
delivers
out.
the people's mail. And she listens to Eminem while she
really?
delivers the mail.
I didn't know that.
All the time. You wouldn't even expect
I wouldn't
it.
expect that.
I know.
Because she was just Oh yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
She'll even make references to Eminem songs. If I say something, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's like in such and such."
That's so funny.
It's so funny.
Oh gosh. So I would say Eminem. And I'm just curious, you guys, take this moment to ask I want to ask the listeners, and this is to the listener, because we're speaking to all listeners, but really they're not listening all together. So we're speaking to one person individually, really, but at the same time. So it'd be, and this one's for our listener. What was your favorite hip hop artist or group?
Please do let us know.
What is it? Just take a moment to ask yourself. Just think about it.
Was it?
Hold on, hold a second. Yeah, what is your favorite listener? What is your favorite hip hop artist? Just give it a second. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. I like them too. I'm glad that we can have that in common. We can share common. We can come to agreements and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we didn't agree, I would respect you and your choice because it's music and it affects you in different ways. It affects us differently. Well, thank you for participating in this with us. I guess we'll go ahead and I think it just might be that time. Misha learns stuff. Thunder roll. Thunder roll.
Yeah.
What did you bring to the table today?
Gosh, this is such good timing because we were just talking about hip hop music and what I brought to the table today was bones.
Bones.
So like boom 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 boom. Like Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
This isn't about Bone Thugs and Harmony. I just thought like
I don't even know what's happening right now.
Well, you know who Bone Thugs and Harmony are.
Yeah. Yeah, urban group.
Well, okay, never mind. You'd have to have caught on to maybe I just didn't do the melody right.
I don't feel like I'm hitting any of your jokes are hitting with me right now.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, I'm going to talk about Bones. And
Thugs and Harmony?
No. I just thought because they have like the song. They have
You can see how now everyone on the podcast except for you.
I'm actually going to talk about Bones, not Bone Thugs and Harmony, but because we were just talking about hip hop music and rappers, then I started thinking, hey, Bones.
There's T-Bone. T-Bone's a rapper too.
Harmony. Yeah, but Bone Thugs are the original like Bones, like so it look, I'll just forget it. I was just trying to do that little intro to their song, that like bum 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 bum.
Okay, well that's okay. So
so anyway, Bones.
We all have them.
Got some.
I can tell you one. I got one.
No, you've got a bunch of them.
There's one I'm thinking of.
Which one?
It's his boner.
That's not a bone.
I know there's no bone in there. And that was just a low-hanging fruit joke for the listeners who wanted it, and I saw it through for you.
Meet you at the crossroads and you won't be lonely. I'll see you
Why
at
are you
the
saying it in
crossroads.
a Mexican Cholo accent?
That's not a Mexico what?
You're talking like
do you not know the song?
No.
What?
No, I didn't listen to Bone Thugs. I told you I was into metal.
All right.
And Eminem.
Okay. Well.
And Tupac here on occasion, and Dr. Dre and Luda.
It's crazy that you don't know who Bone Thugs and Harmony
I know
are.
who they are. I definitely remember seeing people with shirts in high school.
They rapped super fast.
Oh yeah. I do remember now. I do.
I feel like they were like some of the originals of
the OGs.
Yeah, of like that sort of super fast rap.
Yeah,
and you're like, how do you even do that? How can you do that?
I don't know how people do that.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And I would even I'd like to rap more of their songs right now. They just rap too fast. I can't do it. Anyway,
well, let's talk about Bones.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about Bones in general. There's just like a few bone related things I'm bringing to the table that are very interesting.
Okay, sure.
I would like to start with rickets.
Okay. It sounds like cricket.
It does sound like cricket. It does rhyme in that way. So rickets is It's when like you'll see people with rickets or like children with rickets, like from here to here, they get like,
explain it for the listeners.
they get,
From where?
from their, like they get bow-legged.
Bow-legged. I have bow-legged friends.
And so
That's
rickets,
called rickets?
I don't know that every bow-legged person it got there due to rickets.
Bill is bow-legged.
I don't know why he's bow-legged.
Well, I'm letting you know he is.
I'm telling you that's fine. But if somebody has rickets, this is one of the symptoms. I don't know that every bow-legged person has or had rickets.
Gotcha. Okay.
So with rickets, basically it's caused by vitamin D deficiency.
Okay.
And because of the vitamin D deficiency, our digestive system cannot absorb calcium and phosphorus. So
And those are good for your bones.
yes. And so the bones themselves end up becoming more flexible, which
Whoa.
they shouldn't be.
No.
So then they start getting this bow-legged thing. And children, particularly in the Industrial Revolution and during the Industrial Revolution in America, a lot of children at that point were getting rickets because, we're pushing these children into factories and making them work, not out in the sunlight where they can, because our bodies can manufacture vitamin D if our integument, which is our skin, is exposed to the sun.
Our integument?
Integument. The integumentary system is the skin.
Integumentary system is the skin.
Yes.
So this is just for people to know, which is kind of why we do this segment of the podcast, is just for a little bit of takeaways and stuff. So say it again. Integument. So the next time someone says, do you have any, sunblock, can
you rub it on my integument?
Yes. Can you cover my integument, please?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's great to know it's great to know that skin is also called integument.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the
And
integumentary
also,
system.
It makes me wonder, why did we even stop using integument? Why did we start using skin?
Well, I mean, there's a lot more that goes into integument, Like, you think of skin, you just kind of think of this outer layer, but our skin has so many layers.
There's layers to it.
There's
I know
all
that.
kinds of layers.
Because I know when you
tattoo,
I think you tattoo through the first 2 or 3 layers. You only want to go that deep, actually.
Oh, okay.
Something I learned.
Yeah.
And I'm not even in tattoo school, but I would like to be soon.
And you should be, because we could use just any extra
supplemental income. Not that we're struggling, we're doing quite well. And I don't mean that in a bragging way. I mean
but
that
tattoos
in the most
are expensive.
but they're quite expensive.
I wish I got into that business. Can I get back to rickets?
Integuments and rickets, yes.
Where was I? So if so children during the Industrial Revolution often had rickets.
Yep.
They're also malnourished.
Times were tough then. Just got out of the Great Depression. Didn't they?
Look.
It had happened before then though, right?
Yeah, before.
So still
not relevant.
They're still coming out of it though.
No.
Things take time.
No, the Industrial Revolution was before that.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Okay, well then they're okay, my bad. Then they're gearing up for it.
So,
you can feel that thing coming on.
What?
A Great Depression. I can. I'll tell you that.
Okay. You always do this.
Integuments, rickets.
This isn't about the integument.
Okay, well they're staying inside in the factories.
Yeah. So, okay, right, because I was saying that
we're on track.
Our bodies can manufacture
the D.
Vitamin D.
If we get it.
If we're exposed to the sun.
Yep.
So, what is interesting about this bone fact is that an issue that is really quite preventable, right? Like if you just go out in the sun,
just go outside,
I'm a plant-based eater, so I don't drink milk. But if you were to
thank you for not using the V word and just saying plant-based.
If you were to drink, plenty of milk with vitamin D in it, then you'd also probably be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But so now what's interesting is rickets is making a comeback in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Because kids just drink a bunch of soda and they don't drink milk. But I think And again, I'm not pushing for kids to drink milk. But also, I think the main thing is...
But you're also not pushing for kids to drink soda.
No. But the main thing is they're not outside playing.
They're not. They're inside on their TVs, on their devices.
Yeah, and so rickets is making a comeback. That's crazy.
Wow, that's nutty.
Children are not getting enough vitamin D. And, I'm one to talk. I went to the doctor and I got my blood work and she told me that I was low on vitamin D. And I go outside and walk Grace every day, but...
Yeah, I do too.
It's just, I guess I'm not getting enough of it, or
yeah, probably
I don't know,
not
maybe
enough.
my sun hat is too large.
You're probably just not, you're probably not, I mean, really 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day isn't enough to be in the sun.
And she used to go on longer walks, but she's getting a little older, so we've been doing shorter walks. So
Yeah.
maybe it's the shorter walks.
It could be, but also, I mean, I think also spending, okay, if you're even going to max it out, okay, we do a 40-minute walk. I don't think 40 minutes in the sun outside a day, 40 minutes out of all of the hours, out of 24 hours, you're going to spend less than one of them outside. That's not enough.
I don't know what is enough.
That's not enough.
I don't know that you...
I'm telling you that's not enough. I'm letting you know that is not enough.
Maybe it's not.
It's not enough.
Well, look, I love being outdoors.
And who doesn't?
But also, I get a lot of sunspots on my face.
Okay,
And then
well,
it
you
means
gotta-
I need to when the sun hits my face, then I get the sunspots, and then I have to use the glycolic acid and put that on my face and start
Right.
getting it peeled off. And it's a whole to-do. So yeah, have I been hiding from the sun more lately as a lady of the age that I am?
A white woman.
And no, but I'm specifically talking
Well, white
about.
woman, you're going to get
But I didn't. My
sunspots.
skin didn't used to get sunspots. It's a more recent thing. I don't know if it's because I'm in my 30s now. I don't know. I didn't used to get sunspots. Anyway, back to bones. Boom, 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 boom.
You know how you can
boom,
also get vitamin D?
from Sunny D.
Putting that bone in your mouth.
Okay, no.
Okay, that was
No.
and that's a blowjob joke. And just
And
to spell it
another
out.
very low hanging fruit and something that's not even funny.
Okay, great.
So another fun bone thing. There's something called a sternal foramen. Foramen. I don't mean to say foreman, and you think it's like somebody running the show
Running
at a
the
freaking
construction
zone. Yeah, sternal foramen.
Sternal foramen.
More than one foramen would, I believe, be like a foramina. Foramen is like a
It's for men.
foramen.
When it's plural,
Fora.
it's men.
What?
It's men. It's man, and plural is men.
No, but the plural of foramen is foramina.
I think it's for a man.
Nope.
And for a man. Okay, fine.
You don't even know what it is.
Fair enough. This
So-
is not my segment.
A foramen in your bones is kind of like, basically it's like a little hole. It's like little, sometimes we have these little like holes in our bones in places.
For what?
For different reasons.
Is it a disease?
No. So a sternal foramen is a little hole in the sternum.
Okay. And describe the sternum for the listeners.
Well, the sternum is it's in your chestal region.
And what else do you know
in
about
your,
it? Do you know anything else about it?
It's part of your axial skeleton.
Okay. So is it a bone?
It's a bone.
Okay, great.
It's the shape of a sword.
It's a shape of a sword and it's in your chest.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think people would love to know that.
So 4 to 10% of people have a sternal foramen, which is a little hole in your sternum. That's not very many people,
No.
but it has caused crime scene investigators to occasionally think when they're studying a body that they were shot at some point in their sternum
So it's that big of a hole.
because it looks like a little bullet wound.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that large.
but
I just
what's-
assumed it'd be like pinholes or something.
No. It's, you can see it. And it's basically like, for whatever reason, like the bones when you were like developing just didn't completely come together at that point. Like that's what caused it for whatever reason.
It's like your own little imperfection.
Yeah. But what's crazier than the bullet hole thing is that it happens
They found spoons in them too as well, or what?
No.
Sometimes when they do the x-rays, they'll find other things too, like a fork or something.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, I didn't know if those are other types of bone. Continue.
The other thing, aside from the bullet wounds,
Yeah.
what's so fascinating is that it's the location, that hole is often the location of a common acupuncture point. So,
And acupuncture is when you put needles into your body and release stress.
It's a lot more than that. I think that was a very simplified explanation and not no.
Okay,
I'm going to say incorrect.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I've had acupuncture myself, and I believe in it, and I enjoy it, and ultimately, it's putting pins in certain places to relieving stress and energies and moving things and stuff.
Yes and no.
Basically
yes and no. It's a lot more. There's so much more to it. There are all these meridians. It's believed that there are all these meridians moving through your body, which yes, are like all of these points of
so
this.
So you're
like,
kind of poking the meridians and stuff throughout your body.
But it's more than just relieving stress. It could be, people go to acupuncture for
go in the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah, or arthritis or diabetes. Right. I mean, they go for every reason.
Maybe financial advice.
It's
or
just
something.
a ancient Chinese medicine where you're helping the flow of qi or qi. I don't really know.
Is it Chinese medicine?
It is Chinese.
It originated from China?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Cool. I didn't know that. But anyway, continue. Acupuncture, holes.
Yeah. So the sternal foramen, the hole in your sternum, in 4%, 10% of people's sternums, is the location of a popular acupuncture point. So there have been times, it's actually happened, where someone got acupuncture and put that pin right through that hole and killed somebody because they put it into their heart.
Oh my God.
And I'm not making this shit up.
It just made me hold on to my own sternal.
You should honestly, probably people should just never let an acupuncture needle go into your sternum
just until you don't know.
Yeah, until you've had some, I don't know, x-rays or...
Oh God. That would, how deep does a needle go in there?
I don't know those details. It's just happened before.
God, but I have to say, that would probably be a pretty relaxing way to go.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Under the needle, you're sitting there in your acupuncture state. They had the red light on or whatever, and
no, I think your body will immediately freak out once there's a needle inserting into its organ that it just needs to survive.
Well, yeah, then you're just gonna bleed out.
I don't even know what happens.
God, I can't imagine. Well, I know what happens when I put a needle into a water balloon before, and I know exactly what happens. And I can imagine it's the same for the heart.
No, it's not the same.
The heart is a pressurized thing that has fluid coming in and coming out of it.
It does. It does have stuff going in and out.
And so I can
pumping
imagine
stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think that it would
blood and oxygen. So you just
nutrients kind of reiterated what I'm saying. Yes. Wow. That's crazy. So dead.
Do we want one more bone fact or no? One more? No. Yes or no? Yes, no.
Yeah, I guess we could do another one. Yeah.
You don't want it?
That sounds good.
You don't want me to do it?
No, I'd like it.
Okay. Would you like me to make it fast? You don't seem very interested.
No,
you don't like the bone.
No, I'm interested. I'm
you
super
don't like the bone topic.
No, I love it. I love it. I think it's very calcium rich and very good.
Okay. So when
and shouts out to those people who have lost a loved one due to acupuncture and needles going into their loved one's hole.
Yeah.
That can't be an easy thing to process. Continue.
No. So bones, when there's somebody who maybe digs up the remains of a body,
that's
or comes across
an archaeologist,
maybe finds some bones.
Or is that a paleontologist?
Paleontologist.
What does Ross do?
He's a paleontologist.
So he does paleontologist stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And Ross, we mean by Ross from Friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Ross Geller.
I
think his name is David Schwimmer.
Yeah. And I think he's just an actor and a director. I don't even think he's a paleontologist. But Ross is the character.
Ross Geller is.
So bones, when somebody who is like,
what a good show, by the way. Bones. You remember that show?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
I auditioned for that. Remember? I auditioned for that years ago.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Didn't get it though.
I can't remember the leads' names.
I don't think it matters. I think the show was garbage in the end.
Okay.
And continue.
Okay.
And I just say all that out of emotion. I don't know that the show was garbage. It's just
okay. When I saw it, it was entertaining.
I think
it's Zooey Deschanel's sisters that.
You're right. Actually, no, I do remember the show. The show was entertaining, and I was actually really let down that I didn't get the role, and that's totally okay. Continue.
Okay. So like I'm somebody I'm being called in to look at these remains. And what's crazy is like I always knew, don't you ever wonder like they can find some old ass body and know how old it was when it died? Like isn't that crazy?
Well, they're through the bones, right?
Yeah. But how one of the ways the ways they can tell how old somebody is.
You cut the bone in half and you count the rings all the way to the center. And that's how old the person is.
No. That's a tree.
No.
You're thinking about trees.
No, okay, just finish. I'm sorry. Continue.
With bones, so like in like a long bone, you think like a femur.
And a femur is up here, is where your hip and your knee go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's actually probably it's the largest bone in the body.
Yeah. And it's considered a long bone. Like we have different kinds of bone. This is a long bone.
I have a few.
Yeah, you have more than one long bone. Yes. Mm-hmm. We all do. So
well, not all of us.
Okay. So there's at different ages in your life, your bone. So there's the diaphysis, which is the main long part. Okay. And then at the very end, there's the epiphysis,
which is like the knuckle.
Yeah,
part.
More of there. And then in between there's the metaphysis. Metaphysis. There it is. Metaphysis. And that's like the area in between. And then in that area, there's something called the epiphyseal plate. And at different points in your life, like it'll start to ossify, like start becoming like bone, right? Going from something softer to them becoming, and I'm
familiar with this as well.
Okay, this isn't a sexual
thing.
No,
I know that. I'm not making it sexual.
This isn't about your penis.
I'm not. I know that. I'm not saying that at all.
Then what are you talking about? You're
I'm
familiar.
agreeing. I'm familiar. I'm familiar.
Okay, so at certain points in someone's life, like originally, the epiphysis, those little like at the end, and the diaphysis are not one bone.
Gotcha.
But at certain points, they begin to fuse together. So if there is the beginning of a fusion, then they may know, oh, this person was about this age because I can see that this is beginning to fuse. If there's not a fusion at all, then, it's more of like it's closer to this age.
Right.
And then females and males, they fuse at a little bit of different time. By like 1 to 2 years or so, like nothing crazy, but I mean, that's it basically. But
that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's it. That's great. No, that's super interesting. That is wild. So basically, the older you get, the more fusings that's going to be had.
Yeah, you're not
even going to be able to move by the time you're 95 years old. Your bones will all be fused together.
I mean, unfortunately,
maybe that's why
does happen.
Is that why old people have such a? And no disrespect, I have the utmost respect. Is that why elderly people have such a hard time getting around?
Oh, they have a hard time getting around for many reasons.
It's because their bones are being fused together.
I actually do think that there are circumstances in which bones that shouldn't be fused together do get fused, and it is painful. But for elderly people, it's like, think about, like, I'm in so much more pain today than I was when I was 15.
And is this because of what you've been through?
No, because I'm older and my neck, for whatever reason, freaking clicks all the time.
Falling apart and stuff.
I wouldn't say I'm falling apart.
Well, it seems like there's always something broken with you.
Nothing's ever broken, but yeah, I have.
Something's not working or something like that. I don't know. You know what I mean.
Look, I'm done with the freaking. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it.
No, that is interesting stuff. I mean, because the next time I see a bone, I'm going to look at it differently.
Yeah. There's so many different bones,
And that there are. How many bones are in the human body?
A lot. I don't know.
You didn't learn that?
Yeah, I forgot it.
So you do know?
What I brought to the table were 3 specific things.
Well, 4.
4?
You said 4.
No, I didn't. I did rickets.
Yep.
I did sternal foramen.
Yep.
And I did aging in your bones in the
Oh, I guess maybe we
fusion.
kind of maybe chatted about one a little longer. It kind of made me
You
think
chatted about integumentary system. You kind of
Oh,
started
yeah.
talking about that,
Right.
but I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, so
How many bones? I don't know, a couple hundred.
is that just kind of a guess? So it's
It's
not
an
1,000.
educated
It's not
guess.
1,000.
Hold
it's
on.
too far. No, it's not. Okay. We're actually she's gonna pull this up because this is actually something I would like to know for the episode. I would like listeners to know. So if they're in a conversation today, maybe they're at the coffee house or maybe they're at a business meeting, they could go, "Hey, by the way, listen to this podcast, Heavy Bangs. It's a comedy podcast, but they have little takeaways." I found out today the body has how many bones? You could be like, I just found out today that the body has how many? We get the number so I can do this
Babe,
bit.
I'm getting it. It's just the computer had to wake up a second. You know, I didn't have the computer ready.
So anyway, you could have that conversation with somebody. You could kind of blow their mind, and you could kind of have something to give something to someone else. What is it? What's the number?
It's still waking up. The computer is. Just give me
Oh
a second.
gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. We're having a little technical difficulties over here. We're dealing with a MacBook.
Look at that. 206 bones.
206.
I said a couple
bones.
hundred.
Wow. 200, and that's in every person. Every person who hasn't obviously lost some sort of limb.
Yeah.
So if you have not lost a limb, this may be surprising to you listeners.
It's probably pretty common knowledge.
If you have not lost a limb, you have 206 bones in your body. How about that? How fun is it to know that information? I did not know 206.
And most of those are pairs.
What do you mean?
Well, they're pairs, you know. It's like they match each other.
Oh, so really it's 103.
No. You still have, if I got a rib over here and I got a rib over here and they're two different ribs, but they're still. Like,
Okay, so it's 103 of the 103 duplicated bones.
No, that's not even, I said most of them are pairs.
Okay, well, so regardless, 206 bones.
And then like things like in your face will have like a bone over here and then a bone over here on the same side, you know?
Right,
So that's what I mean by pairs.
duplicates.
Not just duplicates, pairs.
It's the same. But regardless, I think it's super great for the listeners to know. I think because now, it took me, I don't know how old, I don't know if I'm 30, I don't know how old I am. I'm 33 or 34, but it took me up until, am I 33? Am I 34?
You're 34. You just turned 34.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I'm not even making a joke. I thought I was 33.
That's what happens when you get older.
But I was
Okay.
born in 87.
Yeah, you're 34.
Fucking A. Okay. Well, apparently I'm a year older than I thought I was. So apparently at 34, you can, really 34?
Yes.
34, you can still learn that you have 206 bones or 103 duplicate bones.
It's not 103 duplicate
okay,
bones.
right.
That's not correct
Okay, not
information.
correct, but 206 bones is 100% accurate. Unless you've lost a limb, then you subtract whatever you've lost.
Or, you know, you were somebody not born with all your bones.
That is true. I completely forgot some people are born without everything.
Mhm.
So
Or extra bones.
really?
Yeah, you've heard of somebody born with like an extra toe or something?
What?
Yeah.
No, I have not heard of this.
Yes, people can be born with extra stuff too.
No,
Yes.
there's people born with extra toes and stuff on their feet.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of conjoined twins. That
Yeah, it's
made
a
me
whole
think
other
of
thing.
conjoined twins. That's having two.
And they're
That's growing a
connected.
whole other person on the side of you. Really?
That's not growing a whole other person on the side of you. That's like something else. It's not like
it is something else.
It's not one person
I
and then
remember watching-
another body starts to grow off of their body.
Well,
It's just
kinda.
that like whatever happens when there's like twins happening, they somehow, I don't know.
Well, there's
it's-
always one that's older than the other. And the one that's older than the other is the one who started growing first. I've watched this on, what are those, like Discovery E? Sometimes they'll have shows and stuff on it. And the
Mhm.
stuff it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah, man, life is wild. Wow. I just want to say I have a boner because of all that stuff. And I absolutely am not even going to lie about that. It just is how it makes me feel. So that I got a bone for that bone information. That information gave me a bone its own self. It's almost like let me give you a bone and you'll get another bone. It's a buy one, get one bone.
I wish it'd
Which
stop.
actually sounds like a gangbang.
I wish it.
So I'm actually not getting gangbanged over here. There's going to be no boning of any types of happening upon myself. Great. Well, thank you so much for bringing that
My
information.
pleasure.
Really
Enjoy.
great. Thank you. And I think our listeners will enjoy. I think it's time to wrap this up.
Motivational speech of the day.
Okay. It is that time to get a little motivated and maybe just shift our perspective a little. Maybe think about something differently. I don't know. What do you think? What is the word that we should use today for
Pamphlet.
pamphlets? Pamphlets. Pamphlets, yes, pamphlets. You know, you can find those pamphlets really kind of at a lot of you can find them at a lot of motel lobbies. They have a lot of pamphlets. And they have those to kind of let people know what's going on and what's happening in their area, kind of what activities they can go and do and stuff. And more important, I think it's just important to know what they're offering, which is information. I'll say that again, information. How important is information in today's world? I think it's quite important. I think the more information you have, the better person you can be. And the more information you have, the better person you can be for other people who are dumb. And you can give them information. And here's the thing. It's never going to run out. It is an endless well of informative actions. And with those informative actions, you are able to convey messages or conversations to certain peoples who maybe didn't have that sort of access to the well, so to speak. And you really can be kind of your own pamphlet for life. And that's really kind of what I'm wanting to focus here on in this motivation, is that I want us all to be more informed. Let's inform ourselves with everything. Whether we agree with it or not, let's understand both sides. Let's see both sides from both directions. I don't think an overload of information is going to do anything but joy. If you like learning, especially. So what I will say is that, look, inform yourselves and inform your neighbors. The more informative you are, the less dumber you will seem. And the less dumber you are, is the smarterest you'll be. And here's also the thing. We're all going to die. And what happens with that information? Well, it gets passed along to all the people that you've passed it through in your life. So really, once you're gone, the only thing that's left is the information in which you've given to other people. And I think that is very, very beautiful. And I think what's even more beautiful than that is that pamphlets usually fold up into 3 folds. And with 3 folds, you really can utilize all sides of the sheet of whatever paper you're printing your information on. And that's why I'm urging you that if you are going to make pamphlets with information on them, to have a trifold pamphlet. Nothing turns me off more than to have a 2-page pamphlet and that's it. But you also don't want to get too cocky, because you don't want to have too many folds, because then honestly it's really hard to fold back up afterward, and then people they kind of crumple it up. It never gets the creases are never the same. So educate your neighbor, educate yourself, educate your life. Thank you for listening to another episode of Heavy Bangs. I have been your host and master, Lance Pollen, and I am here with my co-host and mistress, Misha Pollen, Micmac Paddywhack. Give a dog a bone. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Heavy Bangs. Over and out. God bless.